Six-seeded Novak Djokovic's quest to win his 25th Grand Slam title remains alive after defeating 22nd-ranked Flavio Corboli of Italy in 4 sets in the Wimbledon Quarterfinal on Wednesday. Djokovic has now won 44 of his past 46 matches at Wimbledon. Well, Djokovic will face Jannik Sinner up next in the semifinals after he defeated number 10 seed American Ben Shelton Wednesday in straight sets in their quarterfinal match. And we're now joined by CBS Sports tennis analyst CiCi Bellis, and Djokovic now reaching a record 14th Wimbledon semifinal. He dropped the first set to Corboli in a tiebreak, but took control after that. He did take a fall, though, in the final game of the match and said afterwards that he'll know more tomorrow on just how his body will respond. CiCi, you and I, let's be honest, we have talked ad nauseum about who or what could slow down Djokovic. Is health now the biggest potential flaw for him at this point?
Yeah, it was a crazy fall at the end of that match. But listen, his match today overall was so solid. They had played each other one time before last fall. Djokovic rolled him, but this was a totally different Corboli now. Is coming in as the 22nd seed, a much, more mature and better overall player. The young Italian won the first set, like you said, in the breaker. Djokovic was down 5-2, tried to come back, but couldn't really close it out. Corboli is just really talented. He's got a super live arm, is very athletic. I was really impressed actually with how kind of level-headed he was in the breaker. He's, come out and said how Djokovic has been, his idol since he was growing up. So kind of, being able to play him and keep kind of a level head in that breaker was super impressive. But yeah, Djokovic got, early break in the second set and rolled. Corboli let up a little bit after that really nice tie break and had a few too many unforced errors. And then, yeah, Djokovic got another break at 4-2. His serve was the story of the third set, and then in the fourth, Corboli stayed close. Actually kind of missed a sitter volley on break point, kind of gave it to Novak. And then that was the game where Novak took that really nasty foul, actually on match point. Looked like he tweaked his hamstring or calf just a little bit, but yeah, in the post-match interview, he said, he's hopeful, that it'll be okay. He'll work with his physio later, but we'll never know. He's 38 years old. He's no spring chicken anymore, so we'll see how he recovers overnight.
It'll definitely be something to monitor going forward. But earlier Wednesday, it was the top overall seed Jannik Sinner making quick work of the hard-hitting American Ben Shelton. Sinner came into the match nursing an elbow injury, but what were your takeaways just from his performance in the quarterfinal?
Yeah, like you said, hurt his arm in his match against Dimitrov. Looked like kind of the bottom of his tricep, maybe his elbow. He got an MRI yesterday and actually did not practice, didn't touch a tennis racket. Went out this morning, felt fine during the warm-up. His coach, Darren Cahill, said, he'd be ready to go for the match. But, something hurting like that is always going to be in the back of your mind, especially, at this stage of a major. So always something to consider. He was wearing kind of a sleeve for compression as well. I think the first set today was just really crucial for the match. It was a serving contest. That's exactly what, Ben wanted to get involved in. But I'd say, Ben's first serve percentage kind of left him in that first set tiebreak. Made some pretty crucial unforced errors along with a double fault in there, and then played the majority. I would say, played the majority of the set well until it got to the breaker. And, that's tennis, right? You can play every single point incredibly well until it gets to the business end of things. And then, pressure's on and Sinner came through there. I'd say, Sinner rolled in the last 2 sets. There was no real threat from Shelton there. It didn't really look like Shelton had a ton of belief in those tight moments, which is, uncharacteristic for him. He's usually a very confident player. So I wonder if, Sinner's experience, just kind of got the best of him there. But Sinner looked good. I'd say, the first 4 matches of the tournament were incredibly strong for Sinner and pretty perfect, but the last 2 have been a little less strong, maybe a little hiccupy. Grass isn't his best surface, so something to consider going forward.
Well, now he has his sights set on a marquee semifinal matchup versus the 7-time Wimbledon champion Novak Djokovic. Now, Sinner has won their 4 most recent meetings, including the semifinals at the French Open last month. Now, our health outside, what will be the determining factor between these two on Friday in your mind?
Yeah, so like you mentioned, Sinner's won the last 4 meetings. I think Sinner is overall a better player than Djokovic right now. He's got more pace, plays more kind of an aggressive style. Sinner plays really close to the baseline, takes the ball early. He's the best ball striker on tour by far, can redirect the ball really well as well. I think Djokovic will have to catch Sinner on a very off day for him to win. Djokovic did look good today, but, Corboli is no Sinner. So I'd say if Sinner, plays well as he did today, he's going to take Novak out. It would have to take something pretty special, I would say, for Novak to take this one. But, having said that, Djokovic is incredibly comfortable on grass. and Sinner is not, so that's working in his favor for sure.
Whether it's grass, I know we're dealing with a little bit of ailments here. Will history repeat itself in favor of Sinner? We will find out soon. But CiCi, as always, we appreciate you stopping by with the insight. Let's take a look at the Final Four on the men's side. Djokovic will try to improve to 3-0 against Sinner at Wimbledon and get one step closer to a Grand Slam title number 25. The other men's semifinal is two-time defending champion Carlos Alcaraz against the last remaining American Taylor Fritz. Alcaraz is searching for a three-peat at the All-England club after defeating Djokovic in the 2023 and 2024 finals. Upset alert. In the battle between youth and experience, the veteran got the best of the 18-year-old sensation on the women's side. We delve into Belinda Bencic's route to her Wimbledon semifinals after the break. Number 8 seed Iga Swiatek of Poland is on to her very first Wimbledon semifinal after defeating number 19 Ludmila Samsonova in straight sets. Swiatek remains undefeated against Samsonova, now leading their head-to-head 5-0. We're back joined by tennis analyst CiCi Bellis. And CiCi, Iga improves to 8-1 on grass this season overall. She had 8 wins in her entire career on grass prior to this year. Just how has she transformed her game?
Yeah, listen, Iga hasn't had the best season. She hasn't won a tournament at all this year. This is her first Wimby semifinal, like you said, and finally, I think she is kind of showing that, Grand Slam winning level that we've missed from her for a while. I think she's looking good. She played well today. She didn't lose a point on her first serve in the first set. Her serve has been really, really dominant. I think that's what has kind of been the change on grass. We've seen the grass play really, really quick this year, and it's been slippery, so big servers have been dominating. And also, she's been pretty dominant off the ground. She does such a good job of not giving her opponents any rhythm with her aggressive style. She's kind of like a bull. She'll come out there and take every single ball, moves her feet so quickly, takes things early and plays really close to the baseline. She keeps her opponents pinned back, so you basically feel like you have nowhere to go when you're playing her. The second set, I would say today, Samsonova pushed her a little bit, but never really had any chances to pull ahead. So was just a dominant, kind of controlling match for Iga, and I think that's exactly where she wants to be. She's got a decently tough match in Bencic nets, but I'm favoring her. She's looking good.
Yeah, you said kind of like a bull. She'll try to have those same instincts with her opponent on Thursday. Not someone who she would have expected. Unseeded Belinda Bencic, who notched another upset win to reach her first Wimbledon semifinal. What's going to be the key for Bencic in this match against Iga?
Yeah, really surprising one here, like you mentioned, especially given how well Andreeva has been playing. The youngster played unbelievably well in her round of 16 match. I thought she was easily making it to the finals if she kept up that level, but couldn't quite get there today. I think, Bencic has been a top player for so many years now. You can never count her out. She redirects the ball the best on tour. When her opponents are hitting cross court and she takes it early and goes down the line, she kind of steps in with her right foot on her forehand. It's kind of interesting footwork, but redirects incredibly well, which works well on the grass. It was a battle today. I think mentally she was really steady, which is important for Bencic. But yeah, she's looking really strong. If she's continuing to play, close to the baseline, taking the balls early like she is, it's going to be tough to beat her. I would, like I said, give a bit of an advantage to Iga here, just with an overall kind of game style. I would favor Iga, but Bencic off the ground is as tough as anyone, so it'll be a good match.
Could be another surprise. We're in round 4, but in the other semifinal, the top seed Irina Sabalenka takes on American Amanda Anisimova. Anisimova has beaten Sabalenka in 5 of their previous 8 meetings, including 2 wins in majors. How much can she lean on her past success when it comes to this one?
Yeah, I think a decent amount, honestly. The only thing that I think would maybe be lacking is, this big of a spotlight. Playing someone like Irina Sabalenka is really difficult. Sabalenka has that experience in these types of matches, maybe not necessarily at Wimbledon. So that could be favoring Anisimova a little bit, but out of these 2 semifinals, if there was going to be an upset, I would say it might be this one. Anisimova kind of has Sabalenka's number a little bit. I'd say off the ground, Anisimova walks out to the court every day and she can beat anyone on any given day with her groundies. So she's the type of player that if she's connecting with the ball, she is beating her opponent. So I would say it more so is which Anisimova shows up rather than, Sabalenka playing, very consistent consistently good tennis this whole year, and I would say, it's really about if Amanda is in the right mental headspace, if she's on. Obviously, she's incredibly strong, but I would give maybe a little bit of an edge to Sabalenka just with experience being, in these Grand Slam semifinals and in these kind of big moments. Amanda's been, I would say, out of the spotlight for a few years now, took a little bit of a mental hiatus from the game and is now back playing some great tennis. But yeah, we'll see. It depends on which Amanda shows up. We're hoping that an American can pull through for sure.
Could we be ready for maybe another upset on the women's side? Yet to be seen, but I know you'll be all over it, CiCi. As always, thanks so much. Well, Sabalenka is the odds-on favorite to claim her first career Wimbledon title. Belinda Bencic is the long shot of the Final Four at plus 1,400. She was 60-1 or higher across sportsbooks before the tournament even started. She's hoping to continue the trend of unlikely champions at the All England Club. Each of the past 3 women's champions had odds of 80-1 or longer.